This is the Southside School of Financial Freedom Market Report and small account update for the week ending August 17th, 2024. The market finished higher this week. The Dow Jones Industrial Average increased 0.2% on Friday and was up 2.94% for the week. The S&P 500 increased 0.24% on Friday and was up 3.93% for the week. The Nasdaq increased 0.21% on Friday and was up 5.29% for the week. Looking at the week, we can see that there were 14 up finishes versus one down finish for the major indexes. On Monday, the Dow Jones Industrial Average finished down, while the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq finished up. On Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, all the major indexes finished up. How did you do? My small account finished 3.85% higher and generated cash flow of 1.07%. Even when the market falls and or my account doesn't do well, I still get income or cash flow by selling covered calls and naked puts. This method does not only guarantee cash flow or income, it can also beat the S&P 500. I have a watch list to determine which options of stocks that I want to sell. A stock has to meet 5 criteria to be put on my trading watch list. I will not reveal what my criteria are, but if you examine my list, you may be able to figure out the criteria for yourself. The last row, however, is my benchmark row. That is, I measure my performance against gold, silver, and the S&P 500. Looking at my watch list from the week, the strongest performer on the list was Rocket Lab USA Incorporated, ticker symbol RKLB in the first column. It was up 12.52% on Friday and increased 22.16% for the week. Rocket Lab USA Incorporated provides launch services and space system solutions for space and defense industries. The company provides launch services, spacecraft design services, spacecraft components, spacecraft manufacturing, and other spacecraft and on-orbit management solutions, as well as constellation management services. They design and manufacture small and medium class rockets. Looking at a summary of results, you can see that Rocket Lab has increased 18.63% year to date. I generated cash flow from Rocket Lab this week. I generated cash flow from selling 4 different option contracts. There were 4 calls that ranged from $6.34 to $15.34. On Tuesday, I sold 2 calls, one for $12.34 and one for $6.34. And on Friday, I sold 2 more calls, one for $15.34 and one for $6.34. I also received interest of 42 cents. That's a total of $40.78, which is not a lot of money, but the account is small. $40.78 in cash flow was 1.07% of my account value. With this system, the cash flow money is free and clear. You can take it out of your account and spend it, or leave it in to build your cash balance and or invest it. If you want to increase the amount of cash flow, you just use a larger account. For example, to 10x the cash flow to $407.80, use a larger account, and instead of selling 1 of everything that I sold, sell 10. This strategy is guaranteed to produce cash flow immediately in every week that it is applied. However, it does not guarantee the amount of cash flow from week to week, nor the value of your account. The amount varies and the account value varies. Despite the variations in amount and value, the goal is to generate cash flow and beat the S&P 500. Please note that most professional money managers and their strategies do not consistently beat the S&P 500 every year. They usually lose, and they lose by a lot. Last year, this method beat the SP 500 by almost 12%, but in 2024, my account is down minus 17.17% versus 16.61% up for SPY, an S&P 500 ETF. That's a difference of 33.78%. So I am losing to the S&P 500 by almost 34%. It is not unusual to beat the S&P 500 one year and then lose to the index the next year, which I am currently doing in 2024 because I am trailing SPY by a lot. However, I am confident that I will gain on the SP 500 and beat it by year's end. Tune in next week to find out what happens. Bitcoin Watch. Bitcoin lost minus 2.4% this past week and is down minus 19.88% from its all-time high. It is up, however, almost 41% year to date. Some people believe that Bitcoin is the most transformative financial asset in 1,000 years. I think the best course of action is to dollar cost average, that is DCA, into the S&P 500 and DCA into Bitcoin at a 30 to 70% ratio for the next 10 years and or up to when you have invested at least $10,000. I have implemented a similar strategy where I have a portfolio that is about 85% in a Bitcoin ETF. And after 9 weeks, it is down minus 3.64%. And you can see how SPY is up in those 9 weeks. What do you think? What is your strategy? Do you know how to produce cash flow every week and beat the S&P 500? Do you invest in Bitcoin, which may prove to be the smartest investment of the decade? As you develop, analyze, and implement your strategy, please check back to see how my small account and my Bitcoin dominant account performs against the S&P 500 from week to week by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Thank you.